WNDS Sports and Tri-State Megabucks present Candlepin Stars and Strikes.
Oh, look at this. Look at this. He got it. Spread eagle for a spin.
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is sponsored in part by Somerville Lumber.
Looks good. Looks good. It's good to go. It's good to go.
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is produced in conjunction with the New Hampshire Candlepin Bowling Association. And now your hosts, Doug Brown and Dan Murphy.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to semifinal week here on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Glad to have you again here on the Winds. Of course, we've got an hour of Candlepin bowling for you right now, and then don't forget Stars and Strikes doubles coming up at 5 o'clock this afternoon. Doug Brown along with Dan Murphy, and the semifinals leave us with the top three bowlers in this particular series, and a couple of good possible matchups either way, however this turns out.
Any one of these three bowlers that are left is certainly going to be a great addition to the Tournament of Champions, and that's what we're looking for in the next couple of weeks.
That's right. One of these three remaining gentlemen is going to become the first qualifier for the Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. So let's meet our two bowlers for this afternoon's show. First of all, our number 3 seed. He got a win last week against Brian Uphold from Bradford, Massachusetts, Peter Flynn.
Okay, Peter comes in averaging 129, has a high single of 208. And we keep talking about these roll-off scores, all over 700, and Peter's at 712.
Pretty hard not to talk about him. The roll-off scores, I believe only for the second time ever, where we had 5 roll-off scores over 700. And in case you missed us talking about it the last couple of weeks, we also had a 6th score over 700 that didn't even qualify for the show. That is an indication of how difficult it was.
Yes, bowlers, well, all of those bowlers got the capability of doing that, but that's kind of a rarity.
All right, now the number 2 seed, Peter's opponent for this afternoon's program, is from East Boston, Massachusetts, back for his second appearance with us, Bruno DeFeo.
Okay, and Bruno comes in averaging 127, 211 for a high single, and his roll-off score, well, I'm reading the wrong one, 465 is high triple, 739 is his roll-off score, and I think it's 124 average rather than 127.
All right, well, either way, formidable numbers indeed. And we're going to be back with 3 strings of candlepin bowling between Peter Flynn and Bruno DeFeo. Of course, we have $50 in our bonus ball contest later on, but we're going to get this match started right after these messages. Don't go away.
Happiness. Your children deserve it. And if anything makes them unhappy, you want to fix it. But what if it's an emotional problem? Well, there's a very special place close by dedicated solely to helping children under 14 years old. It's called the Young People's Unit at Hampstead Hospital. At Hampstead, children and their families solve behavioral and emotional problems together. It's simple. Pursue health, find happiness. And now you know where to look. Hampstead Hospital.
What would you do if you were rich?
I'd quit my day job and become a full-time chicken. Watch.
I donate a llama to the White House lawn.
Well, I'd really like to play left field for the Sox at Fenway Park. I'd probably return Donald Trump's call. He wants me to buy his yacht.
If I had a lot of money, I'd buy a 1952 Nash Rambler to go under this petty girl hood ornament.
I'd come out of hiding.
I'm renovating my kitchen, and when you're doing that, you got to get it right the first time. It's your kitchen, so Somerville Lumber, they're the kitchen design experts. They've got everything, the largest selection, the lowest prices, and, I love this, free delivery. I'm really personally proud I stuck with it, and I did have a little help with Somerville Lumber, but, I mean, I tell everybody that, but I know that they helped me.
Judd Gregg is one of the most trustworthy people I know.
I'm going to vote for Judd Gregg because he fought taxes in New Hampshire, and I know he'll fight them in Washington.
As a mother, I'm concerned about the deficit and its effect on my children, and I know that Judd will do something about it.
Judd Gregg has fought taxes here in New Hampshire, and I know when he gets to Washington, he'll stand up to the big liberal spenders there.
Oh, Judd Gregg is not afraid to fight for us in Washington, and I will trust him to do that.
If you've missed any of the action in the last 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks of the brand new season, Brian Uphold was the winner in our first week, knocking off Mike Poulin. And then in a close match last week, it was Peter Flynn by 7 over Brian Uphold. Now Peter takes a shot at our number 2 seed, Bruno DeFeo, and as you see next week, Peter Pereira will be in to defend that number 1 spot. Peter Flynn. Peter thought he had a half Worcester on that ball.
You know, every time he puts those two fingers up, he gets 8 or 9 pin drop. I'm going to try that.
And a nice 10 with the double wood lurking in the channel. Peter Flynn last week with a 384, which included 11 marks, including a double strike in the first game, which helped him off to an early lead.
Well, strategy this match is to miss the head pin with the first ball, and had 2 spare leaves, just missing the first box. Now he's got just the head pin, and he'll nail that one down. So 1 out of 2.
And that brings us to Bruno DeFeo. Bruno's only other appearance with us on Stars and Strikes was back on March 11th of 1990, when he lost a very close match to Tom Morgan, 387 to 373. Bruno's high triple is 465, as you mentioned, Dan, and he did that in the final roll-off for this series. His first 3 games of the final roll-off were 465. On his way to a 739 and a second-seeded finish here.
Just missing the triangle there. I thought with the wood might help him take those 3 pins, but he finished with just an 8 box, so it's a 2-pin advantage for Peter Flynn after 1.
Bruno is from East Boston, works for Fleet Bank, does a lot of his bowling at the Central Park Lanes down in East Boston. Right on the head pin and leaving the 4. And he spares it up in the second.
Now Peter Flynn will fill his spare in the second.
With 8, leaving the 210. Let me remind you before we go too much farther today that our next taping session for Candlepin Stars and Strikes here at Park Place Lanes will be this Tuesday, October the 27th. And a spare for Peter.
Wow.
Got the pin and the cap at the same time.
That's strange, because I would have played this wood to the right and have the ball carry him off, but that's probably why I'm sitting back here and Peter's up there bowling. This time he is going to get 2.
Now
not the half Worcester, but
that one slipped out of his hand a little bit. He gave it a little extra twist on the way down there. So if you're in the neighborhood on Tuesday, we're right off exit 3 from Route 93 on Route 28 in Windham, New Hampshire. Very easy to find. And we'll be here Tuesday from about 10 o'clock in the morning until 4 or 4:30 in the afternoon.
you see the 10 box by Peter playing the head pin rather than just take the 2 in the corner. He tried for all 3 of them, and that's exactly what he did. Now Bruno filling his spare.
Oh, and he chops the 1, 8, and 9.
And removes the 5 pin. So now he's looking at the spread eagle with only 1 ball remaining.
And he works out with a 7. again, the winner of this match moves on to next week's championship match against our number 1 seed, Peter Pereira. The runner-up today goes home with a check for $250, and there's a strike for Bruno DeFeo.
Nice and tight in the 1-2 pocket. It's just a matter of time before they went. See the 6 and the 8 pins left, or 9 pins left, and finally the 9 and then the 6.
Peter Flynn, and he chops the 1, 8, and 9 on the same lane. Oh, made it interesting. And a 10. Good 10.
Worked out of that pretty well. 60 through 5, 12-pin advantage, but forget Bruno was working on a strike.
Talking about all the high scores in this roll-off as Peter Flynn throws a strike of his own.
That was quick.
Yes. The final roll-off for this series where all these 700s were thrown. That's for 5 strings, of course, held at Bowling Acres in Peterborough, New Hampshire.
Bruno looking for 2 strikes.
The 5th place qualifier, of course, saw him a couple of weeks ago. Mike Poulin had a 7:03. Tom O'Brien had a 7:02 and finished 6th.
He's going to go after the 2-pin. Oh,
nope.
Trying to be too careful, I believe. If he was right on the 2-pin with the wood behind it, I think he would have carried the 6.
Make it a 9 box for Bruno. He trails by 5, but he's opposite a strike here in the 6th. Off the head pin, but not too bad. The 1 and the 7. Pulled it just a little bit.
Just missing to the left of the head pin.
And still there for 9.
And a 6-pin advantage, plus the fill on this strike for Peter Flynn.
Four horsemen to the right. Hoping to convert for the spare on the strike. And no.
Okay, get those sticks.
Peter went for all of them. Takes an 8.
85 through 7. And neither bowler seems to be in a good rhythm yet. I'm sure it's just a matter of time.
A very light hit that time, and how about this leave? The 5, 6, or rather the 5, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Back row, plus the 5-pin. Let's see where the wood settles down. Yep, I think he's going to go right almost down the center of the lane. Well, maybe not now with that piece of wood to the right. Yep. Tried to catch the front piece on the left-hand tip.
And it's an 8. So 2 8s for Peter Flynn and an opening for Bruno DeFeo.
Half Worcester right. 3 and a 9 go out of there.
Somerville Lumber is a participating sponsor for this series on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Somerville Lumber, where you can get it right the first time.
Those nice people, Somerville Lumber, been with us many times.
Yes. Oh, nice 10 box for
great,
Bruno.
Great 10.
That's a 4-star 10 box right there.
He elected to go for the head pin. And just 3/4 on the head pin. Ball went down, took the 4-7. Head pin took the 6-10.
Bruno gets back on the head pin, but he'll have to shoot at the 4-7-10 with wood.
Almost want to pinch the 4-pin on the right-hand side and have it come off the wall and across, hoping he'll take the 7 on the way by. That's what he's trying to do. Oh, right behind the 10-pin.
$9 for Bruno. Let's take another look at that spare attempt. Almost.
Final two for Peter Flynn, 93 through 8. You see his record on Stars and Strikes, 11 and 4.
Boy, a hit like that, and look at what he's got.
Those 8 pins went out in a hurry. Leaves himself the 6-7. He could cap the wood in the center of the lane, or go after the 4-pin, try to swing the wood behind. I think I'd try to cap the wood. No, he's going after the 6-pin.
Oh, got it.
I think I'd do it his way. He elected to go after the 6 and watch the wood in between. Good shot.
Semi-final week here on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Peter Flynn and Bruno DeFeo in the midst of game 1, and Peter with just 5 on the fill, working in the 10th. A reminder that at 5 o'clock today, Stars and Strikes doubles. Semi-final week there, too. Bob Whitcomb and Jack Sanick look for their 2nd straight win against Neil Goslin and Francis Bolia. And next week, of course, noon and 5 for championship week. $9 for Peter and a 1-17 opening game.
Sure, it's a little disappointing for Peter. 4 marks. All, well, 3 spares and 1 strike. Bruno DeFeo for his final 2. Wow, nothing to show there. 5-7-9. Trying to cut the 5-pin on the right-hand side, see if he can cut the 5 into the 7.
Gave it a run. Well, a mark here in the 10th for Bruno would cut Peter Flynn's lead back under 10, probably.
Ooh,
nothing,
short pin.
Nothing touched the 8-pin.
Now, let's see where this wood settles down, because right now he's looks like it's going to be somewhat of a roadblock. Have to come up on high on the wood, try to turn it and force it back into the 8-pin.
Let's see. No. Tough break. So after 1, Peter Flynn will have the lead here on Stars and Strikes. A 117 to Bruno DeFeo's 102. 15 pins the edge for Peter Flynn. We're back with game 2 in a minute.
I couldn't get my workman's compensation, and I didn't know who to turn to. I didn't know what to do. They were going to take my house away because I couldn't make the mortgage payments. One day I got this piece of mail from Bill Zeller, and I called him. If it wasn't for Congressman Bill Zeller, I'd have lost everything. I'm telling you right now. My house, my car, my medical insurance, I'd have been up in the street by now. Bill Zeller's #1 in my book. I don't care what. Nobody could never say anything about that man. I can't believe how much he did for me.
Bill Zeller for Congress. No one works harder. No one cares more. Jones knows a lot about hard work. And at New Dartmouth Bank, we're proud to have Lynn on our winning team. She's living proof that hard work pays off in the long run. New Dartmouth Bank. We're working hard to be your bank.
Need cash? Check your jewelry box now. Cash for Gold is buying class rings, wedding bands, gold chains, bracelets, charms, anything marked 10, 14, or 18 karat gold. We buy damaged and broken jewelry other dealers don't want. We'll pay top dollar for diamonds of all sizes, as well as antique clocks, watches, paintings, glassware, and other collectibles. Call Cash for Gold now. Forget the rest. We pay the best.
At the end of today's show, we'll have $50 on the line in our bonus ball contest, and we hope we have your postcards. If not, get them to us. Regular size postcards, your name, your full address, your number from 1 to 10, and mail them on into Park Place Lanes, Route 28, Windham, New Hampshire, 03087. If the pinfall on the bonus ball thrown by our winning bowler at the end of the show matches the number on your postcard, then you will win the money in the jackpot, and you and the bowler will each win a brand new set of bowling balls from Paramount Industries in Medway, Mass. But that's later. Right now, game 2.
Bruno DeFeo will lead it off, trailing by 15.
Bruno has been throwing the ball a little bit better than his score would indicate, I think.
Yeah, he's been on that head pin most of the time with the first ball.
Bruno, it seems, Dan, throws what you might call a very heavy ball. I don't mean heavy in the sense that it weighs more than the others, but it just...
I think, yeah, actually the way I think he's delivering it almost looks like he palms the ball a little more than... It almost looks like he's pushing the ball out there. And
on the head pin again, this time for a spare leave, though, the 3 and the 6.
Whatever he does it right. Roll score 739. Looking at the 3-6 right now, trying to get the first mark of the second game, and he's going to do just that.
His third mark of the match overall. Peter Flynn, of course, has been as involved as anyone in the history of Candlepin Stars and Strikes. He's been involved in a number of record-breaking performances here on the program. Peter recorded the 4th highest single-string total on Stars and Strikes back in June of 1985 when he threw a 183. That day, he threw a 482 triple, which is the highest triple ever here on Stars and Strikes.
Which happens to be his individual high triple, isn't it?
That's right. And he did that some 7 years ago.
Since then, he's grown up, and he's grown a beard. And
oh, yes, he kicks the 5-pin for a strike. And speaking of strikes, Peter Flynn also is one of only 2 bowlers who've thrown as many as 9 strikes in one match here on Stars and Strikes. The other is Paul Berger. Peter did it back in April of last year. He gets his first, make it his second one of the day there.
Bruno filling on a spare. Just can't seem to get off that head pin. I don't mean off it, but a little lighter. Seems to be coming full in the head pin. Trying to cross over, it looks like, in the 1-2, but can't quite get there. 3-6, 4-7.
$7 for Bruno. And this time, half Worcester right. He'll take the 2 in the corner for the 9, 39 through 4. And Peter Flynn comes up working on that strike. The 5, 6, 10 with Wood.
And the Wood's going to make this a very makeable spare. Ball off the Wood into the 5, and the Wood take the other 2. And he's a little high on the Wood. A little too far right.
$10 for Peter.
Some 39 through 3 and a 24 pin advantage right now. 9 in this game.
Oh, spread eagle. They almost made this last week. Let's see.
He almost made it again.
That's the same pin he left, isn't it?
That's right. That one went a little quicker than last week's, but ever so close to making the spread eagle.
Makes the 10, which is an accomplishment in and of itself, and Peter has added 10 pins to his lead. It's now 25, and we'll take a timeout. Right at about the halfway point. Don't go away. Stars and Strikes continues.
Happiness. Your children deserve it. And if anything makes them unhappy, you want to fix it. But what if it's an emotional problem? Well, there's a very special place close by dedicated solely to helping children under 14 years old. It's called the Young People's Unit at Hampstead Hospital. At Hampstead, children and their families solve behavioral and emotional problems together. It's simple. Pursue health, find happiness. And now you know where to look. Hampstead Hospital.
Toyota of Nashua, New Hampshire's value Toyota dealer, is having a dealer-authorized sale for 3 days only. This Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, every new 1992 and 1993 Toyota will be specially marked down for this sale. Our buyers and appraisers will be on hand to assure you of top dollar for your trade-in. And all our pre-owned vehicles will be marked down for this sale as well. These special prices will apply to all Toyotas regardless of model or equipment. Join us, rain or shine, this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only at Toyota of Nashua, Daniel Webster Highway, 1.5 miles north of the Pheasant Lane Mall.
What would you do if you were rich?
I'd quit my day job and become a full-time chicken. Watch.
I donate a llama to the White House lawn.
Well, I'd really like to play left field for the Sox at Fenway Park. I'd probably return Donald Trump's call. He wants me to buy his yacht.
If I had a lot of money, I'd buy a 1952 Nash Rambler to go under this petty girl hood ornament.
I'd come out of hiding.
Isn't it fantastic to be rich? When I decided to renovate my bathroom, and I had chosen Somerville lumber mainly because of the savings there and the selection, which is incredibly big. And on top of that, it's free delivery. And now that it's done, my sense of accomplishment, I feel like I could do like anything. I may attack the kitchen. Save yourself some aggravation and just go to Somerville Lumber and know that you are getting it right the first time. I didn't feel like I was lost. And look at it. It's beautiful in here.
Bruno DeFeo.
Well, about halfway through, Peter Flynn has a 25-pin advantage, but neither bowler seemed to have taken control as of yet. They got some spurts, but that's what Bruno's been shooting at most of the day. This time the 2-4, 6-10.
And a 9.
48 at the halfway mark, second game.
Big first ball again, all over the head pin, leaves the 5. At least he doesn't have a split to shoot at this time.
So you got to take a little extra time. You need these to get yourself going. Covers it with without any problem in the 6th frame. Spare up. Second mark of this game for him.
Peter Flynn on lane 32. Just got by the head pin. And he leaves the 1 and the 9.
And some help in the back, possibly. Now Peter's thinking of one thing. That's to hit the head pin. If he misses the head pin, chances go down considerably of him making the shot.
And again, there are no guarantees.
No.
Call it a 10. Well, Peter's knocked every pin down in every box this game, but he has only 1 mark. He's all over the head pin again. The 4, 5, 7. With another interesting configuration of wood. There you see what Peter sees.
You see what Peter does. He's telling the wood stop. Looks like he probably is going to try to take both pieces. Have the front piece come off the wall for the 5. No,
got it.
Going right straight back through. Capped the wood and drove it right straight back.
Mark number 6 for Peter. Matches the mark that Bruno DeFeo put up in the 6th. And on the mark, Bruno carries the extra pins this time and takes 8.
At first, I thought he was going to be left with a 2, 4, 6, 10 again. 6, 10 go out, gives him a legitimate spare leave in the 2 and the 4.
Got it. 2 in a row. First time that Bruno's had 2 marks in a row. And again, the problem of going through the middle. It could have been worse. He gets 6. I'm going to study this one. That wood in the front makes it a little more interesting.
Yeah, it's the one he's going to have to play. Is the one in front of the triangle. See if he can get things moving around. Gonna need a lot of help in this shot. Capped it. Nice try. Came off the wall. Missed the 7 pin. Cleared out the other 3.
$9. 91 through 8. Now Peter Flynn steps up working on a mark. Remember, he had the lead coming into this game by 15. And at least temporarily, going to add to it here. And it's 8. Leaving the 5 and the 9 with no wood.
Trying to match Bruno's performance of 2 in a row. No, I don't think so.
And there it is for the 10.
Lead now stands at 20 through 7 completed frames.
Takes 8 again. This time it'll be the 4-7. Right on it this time. For his 7th mark. That time, Bruno got a little off to the side of the head pin, and it pays off as he drops 9 leaving the 6-pin.
Kept flirting with that. This time he did get it far enough to the left where he caught the 1-2 pocket, and you can see the result. Just the 6-pin.
And he's all over it for the spare.
Just a matter of trying to maintain that type of first ball for 3 or 4 boxes in a row. And neither bowler seems to have been able to do that so far.
Does it again this time. Watch out, coming this way. This time it's the 3-pin. And he may end up with a piece of frozen wood against it. Yes.
So he's going to finish with 2 in a row. 120 with a ball to come.
Well, Bruno DeFeo with 4 marks in the last 5 boxes finishes up with a 127. I noticed that during the last commercial break, Dan, Bruno came back here and was talking to a couple of friends that he brought with him, and I wonder if maybe they told him something.
Well, we'll have to find a scoop out there. A little coaching going on behind the scenes.
This is on a spare for Peter Flynn. He drops 8.
6-10 looking at Peter, trying to make it 2 marks in a row. He's yet to leave a pin standing in this game. All 10s and a strike in the 2nd and the spare in the 6th and the 8th. Trying to get one in the 9th.
Nope, he knew it. He knew it.
Both bowlers have been on the verge of really taking control of the match, but can't seem to string them.
Well, that's the, for Peter, that's the 3rd straight box that he's had side-by-side pins for a spare leave, and he's only made 1 of them. Working the 10th now.
Well, the 1, 2, and 7. Three pieces of wood in between the 2 and the 7, though. See if it's a help or will it cost him the shot? Well, we'll never know. Missed the head pin. So Bruno, with the 2 spares in the 9th and 10th, is going to climb right back into the match.
He's actually going to pick up a pin or 2, perhaps, in this 2nd game. It'll be 3. 124 for Peter Flynn, a 2-string total 241 to Bruno DeFeo's 229. So just 12 pins the difference, with Peter Flynn in the lead, 1 game to go, and we'll be back with it in a minute.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't recognize all the good that Dick Sweat's done for New Hampshire. He's a true Yankee, and bragging's not his bag. Dick worked harder than any first-term congressman that I've ever known. He worked night and day in the North Country in an attempt to save jobs at the James River Mills. Dick supported the transportation bill. This will save individual tax dollars and create thousands of jobs. He turned down his own personal pay raise, and he supported the balanced budget amendment. Dick spent 50% less in travel than allocated for his personal needs. I'm a Republican. In my dictionary, patriotism is ahead of politics. Please join me, Lyle Hersom, and vote Dick Sweat November 3rd.
I drove it for 8 years.
Your Toyota dealer invites you to discover the all-new Corolla.
I never got so much out of a car.
Totally redesigned, including a standard driver's side airbag and available ABS.
It lasted me all 4 years of college. Okay, 5 years.
Plus Corolla's reputation for value and reliability that Toyota dealers have been delivering for over 25 years.
But I've gone on to bigger and better things. Just got the new one.
Rediscover value at your Toyota dealer and discover Corolla again.
Hampshire needs a senator who will create jobs for us. John Rao for U.S. Senate. It's time to get to work.
Here's our leader, looking for his second win in a row. But he leads by only 12. As we begin game 3. Boy, both bowlers, Dan, have
had some strange leaves.
Yeah, especially considering the frequency that they've hit the head pin.
Waiting in the wings, Pete Pereira, which will decide the champion of this ladder championship, and of course the qualification to the Tournament of Champions at the end of the season.
Pete's doing some advanced scouting. He's watching this match. $9 to open the third game for Peter Flynn. Well, Peter Pereira hoping to have a more successful run here in the singles than he had in doubles. He was with us the first week of the year a couple of weeks ago in doubles. They lost, he and Wayne Denon lost a very tough match by 4 pins to Dan Broder and Mike Poulin. And there's a spare for Peter.
Well, had to work real hard for these marks. There's another terrific shot.
There's that 465 we talked about for Bruno DeFeo. Again, he just set that in the final roll-off for this series. And watch out, could get a tap. No. Leaves the 6-pin.
Looked like he had the 4-7 and the 6 at first, but carried the extra pin or two that time. Gives himself just a shot at the 6. Converts that. Chance to cut into that lead of Peter Flynn, although he's facing a mark put up by Peter already in the second. It's right in there again, and this lead we've seen before.
Seems like we've seen this about 8 times today, isn't it?
5, 6, 10. Let's see how that wood settles down. Well, you'd rather have it there than not. He's going to have to turn it ever so slightly.
No. Leaving the single. The way this match is going, those singles could be important later on.
Lead now is just 5 pins for Peter, but he's going to increase that with this ball, working on the spare he put up in the second.
And he's right through the middle.
Can't get that extra pin either. 2, 4, and 6.
Well, this is the same kind of shot he uses for the spread eagle. Let's see what he does here. Oh, he played this one inside. Had the same target, really, target pocket that he would have for a spread eagle, the 2-4.
9:35 through 3. Back up to the 12-pin advantage.
Well, let's see.
That was going to go over twice, and then the wood stood it back up. One pin tried to knock it over. The other one stood it back up straight. All said and done, 5-10.
Would you go maybe way to the left on this wood?
I think so. Not quite far enough left.
That's what Peter was trying, though, I think. So?
2 open frames for Bruno to work on.
Yep. The lead, 12, as you see. But a chance for Bruno DeFeo here. And he's in the pocket. Look out over there in the corner. He'll leave the 4-pin. On it for the spare.
Spare in the third. Drops to 11 minus this ball. So decent fill. Relatively even.
That time off target. Just 5.
Peter will still have the lead unless he can convert this.
Ooh, that close.
The 1-3-10 and the 8 left the 6. He just to keep pace. It's opposite of 10 box by Peter.
And we will take a timeout. It will be a 10 box for Bruno DeFeo, and this thing is down to just a 6-pin difference with 6 frames to go. We'll come back to decide it in a minute.
Hello, I'm John Kelly of Auto Wholesalers in Hooksett, still the largest used car dealership in New Hampshire. There are lots of reasons why people come to Auto Wholesalers. Selection. With over 300 vehicles in stock, we do have New Hampshire's largest used car inventory. Then there's price. Auto Wholesalers truly is the original wholesale to the public dealer with our prices right on the window. Finally, there's our quality service at wholesale prices. We're not a flat rate shop. We charge only actual time. Auto Wholesalers, DWO Highway, Hooksett.
John Rao, businessman, let's look at the facts. When Rao headed Ohio-based Clopay Corporation, earnings went down, profits went down. Hundreds of people lost their jobs, including John Rao. He was fired. Now Rao's ideas will cost New Hampshire jobs. His protectionism will hurt our exports. His 7% payroll tax will hurt small business. And his 50% defense cut will close the shipyard and cost thousands of defense jobs. John Rao, bad for business, bad for New Hampshire.
All right, here we go. The score is not high this week, but they are close. Peter Flynn leads by 6 with 6 frames left in this match.
He's all over the head pin again, but just not carrying those pins that you really need to say, well, I got a shot at making this. But Peter's been looking at these kind of leaves most of the day.
Well,
he's made some.
Not only that, but that piece of wood now that's against the 2-pin came right in between that, in among that cluster of 3 without knocking anything over. And there it goes in between again.
Watch out. They're both rocking. Not today.
And it's a 10 bucks. Kind of an adventurous 10 bucks.
Those are going to be important, though, as you said before, Doug. In a match like this, that third ball becomes so very important not to leave anything on the plate. At least not anything standing. Off target that time, 4 horsemen. One of the better leaves they've looked at in recent times. 1, 3, 6, and 10.
Oh, yes.
Maybe he's found the secret. Missed the head pin with that first ball.
That's a big mark right there for Peter Flynn. Played it perfectly. Mark number 9 for him. So Bruno would like to put up at least 1 mark in this pair to keep pace, and look at this. The 7-10.
But he has wood.
Oh, right.
I like that to move out into the center of the lane, but he's got 2 pieces of wood, actually. So needless to say, he's going to use the wood and see if he can get things moving from left to right or right to left, or both.
Yes! Oh, yes!
Great
How
shot.
about that? I had to wait to see.
I think the wood was actually going to take it, but the ball came back first. That's a big mark, so he can actually take the lead at least temporarily. He's working against the mark Peter already posted in the 6th.
Off target, but
that's the forte, I guess. Missed the head pin.
Bruno takes the lead
1,
as of now by 1 pin, but he needs the mark to maintain the lead.
1, 3, and 6. He's heavy on the head pin.
Oh. Boy, I'll tell you what, this match is like pitching and defense, isn't it?
Yes. We're all even. Peter will be ahead whatever he drops in this first ball. We are dead even right now. And Peter will decide how many pins he's going to be back in the lead with this ball.
Off the head pin, he'll carry 6.
And the 1, 2, 7, 10.
Taking a little extra time. He knows how important the shot is. No.
Played it to the right of the head pin, hoping that maybe the ball will go down and take the 10. Ball missed it, but the wood came ever so close.
Peter, being the lower seeded bowler in this match, he has to post the score and get into the clubhouse, so he knows he's got to get something up there.
The ball just flew behind it, and then 2 pieces of wood. One very close to the 10 pin. Catches it light this time. And another spare leave, as I say with tongue in cheek. Makeable, but certainly not the kind you want to shoot at.
Nope. Well. If Bruno DeFeo throws 1 mark in these next 2, he could very well take the lead here.
Regardless of what happens, it's going down to the final 2 frames for each of the 2 bowlers. As Doug said, Bruno trailing by 6 right now. Box is completed. Opposite a 10 and a 9.
Oh, big one there. Somehow the 4 pin is still there. Bruno may have to wait for that wood.
He'd love to see it roll against that pin, but it's not going to.
The question is, how long will he have to wait for it?
And he's been on his single pins most of the day. When he's had single pins for spares, he's covered. And he's right up. Well, anything over 6, he can gain the lead.
That's 11 marks for Bruno.
More important would be to put another mark up, because he's opposite an open frame. And he's going to do that possibly with 8 drop on the spare, and well, watch the wood. This is not automatic.
No.
That piece of wood is in the channel, or half in the channel, is resting against the sidewall, because that could snap away. I want to play more of the right-hand piece of wood, because you got a nice angle coming down.
Yes.
That's big, 2 in a row.
Big spare right there.
Now he's, you see the spare? He leads by 3. However, he has the spare posted in the 8th already, so he'll increase the lead. Peter's going to need at least 1 mark, probably 2.
And these are his final 2 boxes, and he goes right through the center.
Oh, nope. Close to cutting the 3 pin over. He's going to grab 3 and hopefully he can put a mark up in the 10th.
Take 2 for the 8 box. 98 through 9.
Mark is a must.
Yeah, it really is at this point. Oh, how about a big strike in the 10th?
Oh, I know what he's thinking now. I'd like another one just like that. That would be the same as putting 2 spares up if you could throw another strike. Of course, with another strike, there's a possibility of making Bruno mark again.
Gonna bounce that one, and it'll
that
just
close
be
to a double. You see Peter still saying, oh, why not another strike? Put a lot of pressure on Bruno.
That's a spare on strike, a 118.
359?
359.
So 130 is a tie. 131 is a win. He's at a 125 clip right now. He's working on a spare.
That's right. He can do it without a mark, but he must throw at least 7.
And then not leave anything standing the rest of the way.
Off target. Watch out.
Well, it's still close now.
Now he's put himself in a mark situation. Mark to win, anyway.
Right.
2 10s will tie it. Oh, did he make it? No. Ooh.
Well, if he misses this, he's going to need a mark to tie or win. With this pin, he can still tie with another 10 bucks. Ooh.
And he slides by.
So he needs a mark. A mark with 2 to win.
A 10 bucks would leave him 1 short. Oh, almost the very same leave. Now he'll shoot at the 4 horsemen.
These are the shots that make champions out of you. Outside. Oh,
no.
2 in a row. He hit that one on the outside, didn't carry it. Peter Flynn survives.
Wow. Another 9, a 128, and the difference is just 2. Peter Flynn with a 359 advances to the finals next week. Bruno DeFeo at 357. We'll be back in a minute.
What would you do if you were rich?
I'd quit my day job and become a full-time chicken. Watch.
I donate a llama to the White House lawn.
Well, I'd really like to play left field for the Sox at Fenway Park. I'd probably return Donald Trump's call. He wants me to buy his yacht.
If I had a lot of money, I'd buy a 1952 Nash Rambler to go under this petty girl hood ornament.
I'd come out of hiding.
Isn't it fantastic to be rich?
I'm not a real handyman myself, so I wanted to go to the place where the contractors went. And then I went to Somerville Lumber, because I figured if they got their stuff there, that was a good place to start. And I discovered that I couldn't beat their prices for all the materials I got. And on top of that, they delivered it for free. So they saved me money. They saved me time. They saved me aggravation. They saved me a whole lot of anxiety. If you want to get it done right and get it done right the first time, you go to Somerville Lumber.
Chevrolet announces just about the last thing you'd expect from a car company: lower prices. Believe it or not, this is real. Chevrolet is lowering the price of every new 1993 Cavalier Coupe, Sedan, Wagon, and Z24 Coupe. No hassles or gimmicks, just straight talk and lower prices. Surprised? You shouldn't be.
What else would you expect from your neighborhood Chevy dealer?
Steve Merrill says character will be decisive in the governor's race, but he's running an attack ad against Arnie Arneson that the Associated Press called misleading. AP said Merrill's ad is misleading in 3 different ways, and the Nashua Telegraph calls Steve Merrill's attack ad a gross distortion. Arnie Arneson's tax plan is designed to lower property taxes. If Steve Merrill misleads us and distorts the truth now, does he have the character to be governor?
Back at Park Place Lanes, and not much time to talk with Bruno DeFeo. And Bruno, I know it's a tough way to go down, but we have $250 prize money for you, and well, you had the opportunity at the end, but the pins just didn't fall. Tough day for both of you, really.
It was. Well, you know, if I just pinned a little bit better through the whole match, it would have been I would have won the match, but I just didn't pin. I left too many pins standing up there during the match.
Well, obviously, as you know, many more opportunities lie ahead during this season, too, so we hope to see you back real soon.
Hope so.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, Bruno. Congratulations to you. And now Peter Flynn to roll the bonus ball for us. I'm sure Peter wanted this chance so that he could make up for the 2 that he threw last week. We have $50 on the line. Oh, much better, a 6.
That's what he needed last week. That's what he needed.
That's right. That's what he needed. Unfortunately, the pick was 8 this time for B. Muldoon from Derry, New Hampshire. So, Mr. or Ms. Muldoon, thank you for your entry, and we'll be sending you off a prize. And, geez, had them all the way. 2 in a row.
No problem.
Wow, that was tough for both of you, wasn't it?
Yeah, I had my palms on this right lane here. I don't know why. I just kept going through the middle, and then I missed the head pin a couple of times, and I just couldn't get nothing going.
Well, we're running out of time, but next week you're here for the big money and the spot in the Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions against Peter Pereira. Good luck.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks, Pete. 2 wins in a row. And, of course, next week we will be here at 12 noon for Championship Week here on Stars and Strikes. It'll be Peter Flynn against Peter Pereira at noon. And then, of course, we'll have our doubles championship match at 5 o'clock next week here on The Winds. Until then, for Dan Murphy and the whole crew, Doug Brown, have a good week, everybody.
Hi, this is Kimberly Carson. Remember to catch Stars and Strikes doubles at its new time today at 5. And coming up next, a brawny Scottish lad leaves his home island to find the girl of his dreams. Bill Travers is on The Bridle Path. That's coming up next on Movie Watch.